From the streets of Cincinnati, welcome to the jungle! Let's go. Stripes, 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 yeah. Stripes, 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 yeah. Stripes, 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 yeah. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in in the jungle we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat, tigers stripe the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' day, time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Day in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounds, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that they muscle on them. Stripes! Cincinnati, we gon' rise in in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move dancing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange upon 'em, bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast on feasting on 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move dancing on? Now who wanna move on? Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trenopole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the number one team in the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals, and Jackpot Joey Burrow. Also, the number two team in the country, the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. That's right. I like to remind everybody of that. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. I'm up to 1,412 subscribers. That is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, if you're watching on Twitter or on Facebook and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please go to the YouTube channel Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube channel, we're doing super chats in the YouTube channel. So if you like to support what I'm doing, you can give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, we get lots of comments and stuff. If it's highlighted, it helps me find it. If you really want me to read it, I'll do my best, and it makes it easier. I mean, just give me a super chat. Now, I'll come to you live from the Ice Cave, and the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. All right, guys, I have a very special guest today. It's Joe Danneman from Fox 19. First time he's ever been on the show. Now, obviously, he's on the air right now, so he's not going to be live with me. It's recorded, and I will get to that here very, very shortly. But let's get to some of the news of the day. And we got some Reds news. Yes, nothing like breaking, but Derek Johnson, the Reds pitching coach, has been upgraded, I guess. He's doing two jobs now to director of pitching. Now, that means he's going to be in charge of the whole shebang from minor leagues all the way up to the Reds, which is cool. I think he's a great pitching coach. I'm not sure how that's going to work out while he's the pitching coach for Cincinnati Reds during the season. But that's where he has to figure it out and not me. Hopefully it's a good thing for the Reds. Hopefully we have more news in this offseason about my Cincinnati Reds and they sign that guy right there, Nick Castellanos. That would be wonderful. So Bob Castellini, if you're watching, I know you are, go sign Nick Castellanos and get us a bullpen so we can go to the freaking World Series like we should have done this year. Anyway, now, as I said at the beginning of this, University of Cincinnati is still number 2 in the country. And we'll find out what the College Football Playoff Committee thinks about UC Tuesday. Now, they got to go beat Tulane. But I just want to put this out there. I put this up on the Sharp Ice Facebook page. But the only FBS team in the top 10 in scoring offense and scoring defense is your University of Cincinnati Bearcats. I just like to put that out there because, we're pretty good. And like me and Joe Danneman, we'll get into it in the interview, talk about how good the Bearcats are. And the thing about the Bearcats is they actually have NFL players on their team. So let me get to a couple comments here before we get to the interview. Let's see here. What's going on? David Lashua, my brother-in-law. Be nice to him. He's the Packer fan in there. He's in the chat. So be nice to him. He's the one talking trash about the Packers. So you guys are just saying what's up to everybody in the show. How you guys doing in the chat? Iceman from Crown here. How many jackpots will Joe Burrow throw for this week? Good question. I think we're going against the Jets. He threw for what, 4 or 3 against the Ratbirds. I think he's going to ball out. I honestly do. And just to put this out there too, I got this little cool graphic. Jackpot Joey Burrow has the most consecutive games with 2 passing TDs or more. He's at 7. And hey David, if you're looking, I see you see that graphic right there, right there. There's a guy named Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Joe Burrow's above him. I know you're watching, man, so I got to throw that out there. But yeah, I think he's going to throw for at least 3, I think. But we'll see. Anyway, I think I want to get to the interview of the day y'all been waiting for. It is none other than Joe Danneman. Hey, Joe, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
I'm excellent. I'm here with all my exploding ideas.
I see that. I like that.
You like that?
That makes you look like you just got all kinds of thoughts just coming in and out of your brain, just sports all the time.
Exactly. I got so many compliments on the artwork here, and somebody told me, hey, it looks like a firework behind you. I'm like, actually, it looks like I just have exploding ideas and hot takes just popping out of my head. I'll go with that one.
Hey, look, all I got some Jackpot Joey stuff behind me, so.
Yours is better.
There you go. Speaking of Jackpot Joey, he is the AFC Player of the Week. Along with that, the chosen one, Uno, Jamar Chase is the Joe Burrow is the AFC Air Player of the Week. Jamar Chase is the AFC Player of the Week. And there's so many awards going on for this team this week. It's hard to keep track of. I mean, how good is this team? Did you expect this?
I did not expect this. In fact, I was thinking back to a radio interview I did with 700 WLW about a week before the start of the regular season. And they asked me to put a number on what I thought the Bengals would be this year. And I said, well, the number that I think is most important for the Bengals isn't wins and losses. I thought the number was 17, that if Joe Burrow played all 17 games this year, that the Bengals would be fine and they would make progress. And I thought progress was getting to the point where Joe Burrow, A, played a healthy season, and B, won enough games that he and Zach Taylor would be allowed to, by this front office, to continue this relationship going forward. Because, like it or not, Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow right now are kind of tied together. And I thought the front office had one job here the next 3 years, and that was to make Cincinnati a destination for Joe Burrow to want to sign a second contract. But then it's like they took this idea of progress, threw it in a DeLorean, gunned it to 88, and they've gone on to an alternate timeline. completely different timeline than I imagined they would be on right now, where they went from just making progress to the other P word, which is now contending for the playoffs. And I think this team, without a doubt, is now a playoff contender the way they've looked the first half of the season.
Absolutely. Now, I always tell everybody, I always look at everything through orange colored sunglasses. So I got to put them on here because I got to show you this this graphic that I'm not trying to toot my own horn because it still might not come true. But this was my record prediction of when I did this when the schedule came out. I said 11-6. Now, yes, like I said, I am a diehard Bengals fan. Everybody said I was crazy. I thought I was a little bit crazy, but so far I'm looking pretty good.
You are looking pretty good.
I even got us beating Kansas City, which back then was like, you're crazy. But the way this defense is playing and the way Kansas City is playing, I mean, for me, the surprising thing is the defense. I mean, I thought our offense was going to be very, very potent with Chase, and I thought Burrow was going to come back and have a good. He might start off slow, but have a good year. But this defense, they're top 5, top 10. I thought we'd be happy if they're top, 20, but they're way better than we thought.
Again, it's the idea of progress. What is progress? And then what is completely jumping the timeline of what we thought progress could be in one season. But I'll go back to what you said. We all thought the offense would be great. Look, they've invested in this offense to be explosive, to be good, to be great. You think about the top 5 skill position players for the Bengals: Burrow, Mixon, Higgins, Boyd, Jamar Chase. They're all first and second round draft picks.
Yep.
And they invested a first round pick in an offensive tackle. Then they invested in free agency for the other tackles. So look, we knew this offense was built to be this, right? They were built to be explosive, to be competitive, to be one of the better offenses in the NFL. In fact, when they drafted Jamar Chase, I called them instantly a top 10 NFL Sunday ticket team.
Right.
That if you're on Sunday ticket and you're going through trying to find which game you want to watch, like, I'm watching the Bengals because they're exciting and they have a lot of fantasy football players. What do people watch the NFL for if they're not watching their favorite team? They watch for gambling. They watch for fantasy football. I said the Bengals would be a big-time watch because they have a lot of fantasy football players. So the point being, the offense was built to be this, to be exciting, to be explosive, to be competitive. The defense to me was the question because they were so bad last season at getting to the quarterback. 17 sacks in 16 games. That's unheard of. That's terrible. That's non-competitive football. And then they invest $100 million in Sam Hubbard, who I thought was maybe a role player. And then Trey Hendrickson was the other half of that $100 million, a guy who had one big-time season in New Orleans. You know, was it a flash in the pan? Was it one big year? Could he replicate this? And now these two guys get their roles here in Cincinnati as the primary pass rushers, and they've looked unblockable. So that part is playing through. Logan Wilson, who's a guy that I'm not sure half of Cincinnati could even pick out of a lineup before this year, is now playing like an all-pro. And then their secondary, who, they invested in some guys that maybe people didn't know before the season, and they've really played well. So there was a lot of people that maybe follow the Bengals who didn't understand who these people were. Even myself, who covers this team, when you look at them, I'm like, I don't know about these guys, how they're going to fit together. And are they top 5? Are they top 10? I don't know, but they're certainly playing like it right now. And the only thing we can go off right now are results. And the results say right now this team is, I don't want to use the word overachieving defensively, but I think that's probably the right word to use right now for this defense, considering what they've done so far this year. Is it sustainable at this level? I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, to me, that has been the most surprising part of the 2021 Bengals, and why they are one of the better teams in the AFC is because their defense is playing at the level they're playing at.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would call Lou Anarumo, I would call him Lou Armadillo, because I'm like, this is an armadillo defense. What are we doing? I mean, I look like guys didn't know where to be last year. The schemes didn't fit with what he had. I'm just like, dude, he's got to go. I'm glad. Boy, was I wrong. I'm glad they got the guys. And the thing is, they've got the guys. And Zach has said this a lot. They've got the right guys in the room now, I think, offensively and defensively. And it's two different. Like you said, the offense is largely built on draft picks. The defense is largely built on free agency. And again, to go back to the Bengal history, people don't want to come to Cincinnati to play. Well, we had a whole bunch of them come and play for us this year with the defense. And Sam Hubbard, I'm with you on that. I thought Sam Hubbard was he's a good run stopper. Blitzer, it's okay. Trey Hendrickson, we'll see. He might. Some people say he's a downgrade from Carl Lawson last year, but right now those guys are playing awesome. And you cannot forget about Larry Obi-Wan Kajobi. That's what I call him, Obi-Wan Kajobi.
Help me, Ogunjobi. You're my only hope. That's
exactly. Now you can put that on your broadcast if you want. That's fine. But I mean, he's playing. He's Geno Atkins 2.0. I mean, you got him and DJ Reader coming up the middle, and the H boys coming around the side, and then Chidobe Awuzie has played like a number one cornerback. And you got to give it to Eli Apple. I know everybody was all over Eli Apple, including myself at the beginning of the year. You haven't heard a word. He's been playing really good the last couple weeks. So I mean, by far the biggest surprise to me is this defense. And then you have Chase, who I was a big Team Chase guy. I knew he was going to be good. But Joe, this is ridiculous. He has more yardage than anybody through the first 7 games in NFL history. That's history of the entire NFL. He's got more yardage than anybody. I didn't see that coming, him being that good.
No, I didn't see it coming just because I saw the competition for the football on the field. I mean, you got T. Higgins, You've got Tyler Boyd, then you have a running back who has the potential to be one of the top 5 rushing leaders in the NFL every season that he's healthy. So there's only so many footballs to go around. And the funny thing about Jamar Chase was, and boy, you go back to training camp and a lot of the news reports and a lot of the talking points on Jamar Chase were about the drops and that kind of thing. It's funny. And the funny thing about Twitter is, as Jamar Chase, continues to accelerate himself up the ladder of best receivers in the NFL, where people like to spike the football on the local media and say, "Oh yeah, is he dropping the football now?" Look, that was real.
Oh yeah, no, it was. He was dropping it. Yeah,
it was real. And, and people can debate what it meant, why it happened, and have fun with that whatever way they want. But for us to sit here and say that wasn't happening is false. It wasn't just happening in games. He was dropping everything in practice. And it got to the point where it was like, this could be a concern. This could be a concern at the start of the year. Is it because he took the year off? Will he be a guy that comes Sunday and once they put on the uniforms and there's people in the crowd, he'll just perform? That was always my thought. Now, once it came time, the lights were on that this guy's going to perform, and obviously he has. But that stuff was real. So I want to put that out there because so many people like to come back and like spike the football in the local media. You guys didn't know what you were talking about. No, we were just telling you what we were observing.
Right.
And that stuff was happening. Now with Jamar Chase, it's interesting because the deep ball has been such a big part of his game so far here, the first 7 weeks of the season. To me, what I was sold on and what I was looking most forward to from Jamar Chase was the play he made against the Ravens, where he catches a 10-yard pass and makes it an 80-yard touchdown by breaking tackles. To me, that was the part of his game that I thought the Bengals needed. They needed somebody who, once the ball was in their hand on the second level of the defense, could make people miss, could break tackles, and can make big plays. We've heard so many people talk about the Steve Smith comparison. That's what Steve Smith used to do in Carolina, where he'd catch a ball on a slant for 10 yards, and then he would out-muscle a safety or a corner and then outrun everybody for a touchdown and make those game-changing kind of plays that Jamar Chase made against the Ravens. So I was so excited to see that actually play out in a game because everything's been over the top with Jamar Chase to this point. And obviously that's a big part of his game. We saw it at LSU, but I wanted to see this and what he did against Baltimore, and he did it. So to me, that was exciting to see that part of his game for the first time as a professional football player. But you talked about guys not wanting to come to Cincinnati in the past.
Right.
Don't you think the guy and the number behind you makes a difference in that? And
jackpot.
If you were a free agent in the NFL and you're looking for a team to go to, wouldn't you want to go there?
Exactly.
Because what the difference it makes when you walk out on the field, and I think Marcus Spears is an excellent now TV talking head, former football player, and he was talking yesterday on NFL Live about Joe Burrow and about people wanting to go play for a quarterback like that, because he says he remembers going out onto the field sometimes with quarterbacks and just knowing you don't have much of a chance because of the quarterback and what that does to a locker room. But when you have a guy like Joe Burrow, or pick your favorite elite quarterback, when you go out there and you have that in your back pocket, there's a belief. There's a belief with the team. See, your dog agrees with me.
I know. I'm here by myself, so I can't do anything about it.
He's saying, "Hey, Joe, scream it louder. Scream it louder."
Exactly.
Joe Burrow, and they want to play with Joe Burrow. But no, I think it's the truth. I think now you're seeing guys, and you're going to see even more of it going forward, where they see what the Bengals are building, and they see they have the quarterback in place. And if you're a guy who wants to go win football games, I don't care where you play. I care about who I play with. And if I'm playing with Joe Burrow and I'm playing with that offense, I'm going to have a chance to play in playoff games, or maybe even play in bigger than playoff games, playing championship games. So I think that's a huge difference maker, not only to what we're seeing this year, but I think the future of the franchise. When you get a guy like Joe Burrow, I think it changes the course of a franchise's future, because now you're talking about a different level of free agent who might want to come play with you because they want to play with Joe Burrow. People wanting to come play with Joe Burrow.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that back up, because Riley Reef said that in his press conference. Joe Burrow is the reason he wanted to come here. He convinced him. I mean, when you have that quarterback, and Bengal fans are kind of worried now. It's like, oh, we got to make sure we sign all these guys that are left. Well, you have that quarterback, and you have that potential of the quarterback being a Super Bowl winning quarterback, then yes, you're going to be able to. Guys are going to take less money to come here. They're going to want to stay here. You know, that is a trickle down effect of the Jackpot Joe Burrow effect.
And I think that's the window now you're looking at with the Bengals, because you start talking about when is the best time to compete for championships.
Mm-hmm.
The best time is to compete right now, because you have the rookie contract of a quarterback. Now you have a more flexible salary cap to play with, where you can divide out this money in different ways. Because look, in 3 years, Joe Burrow is going to be making Patrick Mahomes type of money.
Absolutely.
And then it becomes harder to surround him with the kind of talent you want to. Now you're hoping guys take less money, or you're hoping you can find guys in the draft. Whereas now, when Joe Burrow is making what he's making, and you can spend that money in other places, you can really upgrade around him. And that's where the window is wide open.
Yeah,
this rookie contract of a quarterback is the window to do it. And I said Sunday, when they beat Baltimore, I said the playoff window is now officially open.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that game meant to me.
Yep.
It was, okay, we saw what they did against Green Bay. I thought they looked fine against Green Bay in a moment where they're talking about a team who played in the NFL's Final Four 2 consecutive years. They were right there with a chance to win. But Baltimore felt like a different animal in road game recent history. Lamar Jackson felt like he was just someone that this team really hadn't figured out yet. And so for them to go there, not only win, but win the way they did, I thought officially opened the playoff window here in Cincinnati. And it's a wide open window for this team and this roster.
Joe, they dropped 40 on them. They dropped 40 on them.
Out of nowhere. And the funny thing about the NFL is it's hard to step back and wonder what that means for the big picture, because there are weird results every single week in the NFL, just like the Jets. Think about the Jets this week. What's their one win?
Mm-hmm.
The Titans.
Right, exactly.
The Titans are 5-2.
Right.
So it's who knows what happens in
Right.
this league. Who knows what this means? I will say this. When they play the Ravens later in this year, the Ravens are going to be ready to play.
Oh, yeah.
Marlon Humphrey's going to be ready to play. Lamar Jackson will be ready. I think that's one of the games I'm looking forward to most, is the rematch against Baltimore, because that's a team who's going to have something to prove when they come to Cincinnati.
And I'll be at the game. I got season tickets, so I can't wait. But
you'll be there with your sign.
Yeah, exactly. I have my cape. That's my cape back there.
Cape, yes.
I wear that. But that's one thing. I'll go back to my prediction when I said 11-6. That's where I was kind of like, people kept saying, the Bengals window more opens up next year. And I kept saying, Joe Burrow's contract is coming up quickly. I'm like, the window needs to be now. If there's at all any possibility of it happening now, it needs to happen now, because I thought they'd had the talent offensively to do it. And I thought defensively we could keep us somewhat in the game to be able to do it, because I've compared this year to that 05 team. That 05 team had a great offense and an okay defense, but they turned the ball over a ton. They didn't pressure the quarterback. This defense is better than that 05 team. That 05 team was very opportunistic and just got a lot of turnovers. This defense can win you games. The 05 team, that defense couldn't win you games, but that's where I compared going into the season. This team compared to the 05 team because you have Joe Burrow, who's coming to his second year. You had Carson Palmer, who's in his third year because he sat out, his whole rookie year. It was a lot of comparisons to me that you never know. It could happen again.
I think you froze again on me.
Did I? Am I frozen again? Are you serious? Can you see me?
Okay, you're back.
Oh, I'm back. What is going on with this? I have a bad internet day. Anyway, okay. So what I was saying was that
I heard, the 2005 comparison to this year, and I'll say this, and I think you make a great point because the 2 years people talk about most for the younger generation of the last 20 years are obviously 2005 and the 2015 team. The 2015 team that started 7-0, I believe, feels completely different to me than this.
Yes. It's sustainable. Mo Eggers said it on the show. It's sustainable, and I agree with him what he's saying.
And I think the cap on that team was the quarterback play that we all understood. Even though Andy Dalton through 7 weeks last year was playing like an MVP of the league.
Absolutely, he was. People forget that.
But we kind of all knew, right? We all kind of knew that. Wait a minute, when they do have to play the Pittsburghs and the other teams like that in the AFC, we just kind of knew in the back of our head, like we don't really believe that this team is a Super Bowl contender. Now, who knows if Andy didn't get hurt, what that would be.
Right.
But 2005 feels different. 2005 feels more like this because it is the young quarterback with the pedigree of the Carson Palmer and now the pedigree of a Joe Burrow. It's the flashy, big-time wide receiver that makes Cincinnati really popular, Chad Johnson and now Jamar Chase. And then it's the defense. You're right. It was different. The 2005 team, those turnovers that season were wild, unpredictable, out of nowhere, and opportunistic. However way you want to play defense, that's great. But yes, this does feel more sustainable in 2021 because it's consistently pressuring the quarterback. And if you do that, you're going to be successful in the way the NFL is made up now. But it also feels like to me, and just watching this week and watching the way people are talking about the Bengals outside of Cincinnati, they didn't do this in 2015.
You're right.
The Bengals started 7-0. There wasn't this idea that the Bengals were the talk of the NFL the way they are now. They were in 2005.
They were
cool.
Yep.
They were fun.
Absolutely.
They had flash, they had style, and they were winning games. This team has that kind of similar feel to it, where it's results, personality, youth, excitement, and it's refreshing because we've only had 3 years of this. And I know the Bengals made plenty of playoff runs with Marvin Lewis, but there's only been 3 years in the last 20 years where it felt like this team legitimately could do some damage in the playoffs. 5, 15, 21, and this one feels more like 2005 to me because of all the things we talked about.
Absolutely. And one thing that I thought was kind of funny, the guys from I don't follow them. I only heard it because I think Tony Pike played it on his show. Guys from Barstool, part of my take, or I think it's part of my take, is their podcast. Anyway, one of the guys got Big Cat and whoever the other guy is that's with him. He said they're talking about the Bengals, and he's like, "This is the greatest Bengals team ever." I'm like, "No, it's not, dude. We went to 2 Super Bowls." I'm like, I'm old enough. I saw both of them. I'm like, I cried after both of them. So trust me, it's not the greatest Bengals team yet. It could be if they win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the only way that'll happen. But I mean, let's talk about just how fun it is to be a Cincinnati football fan right now. We talked about the Bengals. Let's talk about the number 2 team in the country, the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. And were you as surprised as I was that they kept the Bearcats at number 2 after, let's be honest, barely beating Navy in a very frustrating game?
I am surprised. In fact, I predicted to my coworker Jeremy the day after the Navy game where UCLA won by a touchdown and Alabama looked a little bit more like Alabama again against Tennessee, that I thought they were going to jump Alabama up to number 2. I wasn't worried about Oklahoma jumping UC because Oklahoma looked just as bad
right
as UC. Not to say either team looked bad. I mean, look, you win football games, whatever. But I thought for sure that the pollsters were going to wait for an opportunity.
Exactly.
Open the door.
And we gave it to them.
To put beloved Alabama right back up there to number 2. And they're coming. And, they're coming, and it'll happen there. As far as the rankings go, and it's a fun talking point, the rankings that matter are the rankings that come out this coming Tuesday when they go to the playoff rankings. And to me, that's when we're really going to find out what UC is to the people who matter.
Right.
People who matter are the people on the playoff committee. How real do they think UC is? How much will they take into account last season when UC won every regular season game and took the number one team, the current number one team in the country, Georgia, just in the last calendar year down to the final seconds, and it took an unlikely field goal to beat UC? Did they prove enough? Did they prove enough last year in what they did? Does that matter to them? And through this year, the entire body of work of the last 12 months plus, 13 months, is that enough for them to put them over the Alabamas, the Oklahomas, the Ohio States? That to me is fascinating. It's fascinating. I could see UC be anywhere on Tuesday night, assuming everything plays out, assuming Georgia wins, Ohio State wins, Oklahoma wins, Alabama wins, and UC wins. I don't think they're below 5. I don't believe they're below 5. I've heard some people say 6. Are they anywhere from number 2 to number 5? I have no idea. No clue where they're going to put them. And I can't wait to find out, because I think that, to me, is fascinating, how these people in this playoff committee fully evaluate UC, given who they played, given who they're up against as far as blue blood programs. It's going to be fascinating to me, and I can't wait to see where they have them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of like I've been saying too. It's awesome being ranked number 2.
It's great.
These rankings don't matter. As I enjoy it, I've enjoyed the hell out of it. It's been fun. The ones that matter are this Tuesday, and I honestly, if they put us in it, I think we're gonna be at 4. We're not gonna be at 2. I don't think they could drop us out, but if they go and they blow out Tulsa again, and that's the thing that I've said to SEC fans. They're like, your schedule stinks. I'm like, look, our schedule's our schedule. We can't do anything about it. We've scheduled Notre Dame. We scheduled it, and we did what we could do. But the pressure that's on this team to not only win every game and this year is to blow them out. They have to have big victories to compensate for the competition. So to me, the pressure is on them just as much as it would be on an SEC team. The competition, no, but the pressure is, and you have the weight of an entire fan base who's never been to this place ever. Our Bearcat fans, we've never been to a number 2 team. We've never had a number 2 team in the country ranking. You have all this weight on their shoulders. So that's a lot of pressure for them. So that's where I'm kind of like, yes, our schedule stinks, but you have to look at the context of what they're dealing with. And they're dealing with undefeated team being undefeated for 2 years right now. That I don't care what division or what conference you're in. That's hard to do in any conference.
I think the standard is unfair.
Yes.
That they're holding UC to. The standard that you expect a team who's coming in with the bullseye, the number 2 team in the country, getting everybody's best shot. You're getting everybody in whatever city you show up into. You saw it with Navy. You're going to get their absolute best. The standard that they have to beat every team by 40 is unfair. It really is. It's unfair. And so but the problem is when you're trying to, you're trying to thread this needle, right? You're trying to thread the needle, be the first group of 5 team ever to get into and crash this party at the college football playoff. Beating Navy by a touchdown doesn't move the needle. It just doesn't. That's reality. So the standard of blow everybody out or bust is unfair. But that's the scenario they're in. That's unfortunately the scenario they're in. I think you're given one pass.
And we just had it.
Yeah. You're given one pass. Okay, you beat Navy. It's a weird game, weird offense, weird week. Okay, we'll give it to you. If you bounce back and you win every game here from the rest of the way out by 30+, you're real, and I'll take you seriously. But this can't be – I don't think UC fans can bury their heads in the sand and simply say, a win is a win. Keep moving on. It's not that simple.
No.
It's not that simple.
Joe,
You're trying to change people's perception of what group of 5 is against these behemoths in the Power 5 conferences. You have to be different. You have to show off. You have to show out. You have to blow out. You have to change minds. And that is unfairly the standard they have to live up to, but that's the reality that UC's in right now.
Yeah, and this is what I hate about this. That was the first time in my lifetime I've been a lifelong Bearcat fan. I went to the school that we won, and I was pissed off.
Yep.
I'm like, you can't do that. And I was for sure they were going to drop us. Luckily, they didn't. Now, I got to put this scenario to you. This is the one that really does scare me. Just say they are in the top 4, and we go down to the final games of the season. You have Georgia and Alabama. Georgia already beat Alabama. What happens if Alabama beats Georgia? If that happens, they're putting 2 SEC teams in.
Oh,
in my mind, if that happens, UC is screwed because they're not going to leave 2 other Power 5s out. I don't think.
Well, in that case, yes, there's no question. If it comes down to if you have 1 loss Alabama and 1 loss Georgia, and Georgia's only loss is to Alabama, they're both going in.
Right.
And I have no problem with that, quite honestly. I understand what the SEC
no,
is.
I understand. Yeah.
I've got no problem.
I don't like it.
if Alabama's only loss is to Texas A&M and they have a win over the number 1 team in the country, they should be in. And if Georgia's only loss of the season is to number 2 or number 3 Alabama, they should be in, considering what they played all season long. I think then if you're UC fans, you're looking at whoever wins the Big Ten is likely going to get in, probably going to be a 1-loss Big Ten team. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that's Ohio State. If Ohio State runs the table, they're in. If Michigan runs the table and they're a 1-loss team, a 1-loss Big Ten team, considering that the Big Ten has 4 teams around the top 10, 15,
right.
Likely going to get that 1-loss champion in. The 2 teams UC fans need to root against, and one of them's been on the ropes multiple times. You got to root for Oklahoma to lose.
Yep.
You got to root for Oregon to lose.
Yep.
Those are the 2 big ones. The
Yep.
2 O's. You need the 2 O's to take an L.
I like that.
You're looking at
2
for the
O's
rest of the year. In Oklahoma, boy, they're just like they're up against the ropes. They're just waiting to be knocked out. Right? Someone just take a swing and put them out of their misery. Them with their new quarterback, they look a little bit different than they do with Spencer Rattler. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. Although the Kansas game.
Yeah, no, I thought for sure.
What?
Well, you got the Kansas game the week before that, the Texas. Texas had that game.
Yeah, at least Texas has a pulse, man. At least Texas is a good program, a decent program. But, Oregon, Oklahoma, those are the – I think you're likely going to come down to, in your scenario, you would have the 2 SEC teams, the Big Ten champ, and then you have these 3 teams, Oklahoma, Oregon, UC, debating for that 4th spot. So you need to root against Oklahoma and Oregon.
Exactly. Well, I'm just wondering, and not to keep you too much longer here, I kept you for a while here, but I don't know if this would have any bearing on it. I seriously doubt it does. But since UC, hopefully in 2 years, 2023 they are going to go to the Big 12. We're hoping it's 2023. Do you think that has any bearing on this whatsoever? That they're not a Power 5 school, but they're going to be. And if they were in the Big 12, we'd be the number 1, the highest ranked team in the Big 12. If you look at it that way, and I don't think they're going to take that in consideration. But do you think that even enters the committee's mind at all?
I don't think what's coming down the road will change their mind on what UC is this year. I just hope the committee looks at UC like this, where what do you want if you're the committee? When they tell us all the time, they want complete football teams. They want complete football teams. UC has the offense. Mm-hmm. They have the defense. Whatever with the special teams.
The field goal kicking,
But listen, you want a real offense, you want a real defense. You've got that. You've got NFL players all over the field.
Absolutely.
You've got I saw Todd McShay put out his top 32 yesterday, and he's got 2 Bearcats in his top 32. You got a quarterback and a cornerback who right now can walk on the field and start for most teams in college football. In fact, Ahmad Gardner would start for every team in college football. Desmond Ritter, would start for every team, but maybe 5.
Right.
You pick your Oklahomas, maybe your Ohio State, Ole Miss, teams with great quarterbacks, Alabama, on down the line. So I think when you walk out there and you have a complete team, you have NFL players, and you have this body of work. And Luke Fickell keeps talking about the body of work because I asked him straight up a couple of weeks ago because I was curious. I said, as a coach in this, do you want what happened last year to matter in the conversations the committee has about your team this year? And it's an interesting debate to me because I think a lot of committee members might feel like, UC got slighted last year. Maybe subconsciously that plays into their favor this year. That we can't slight these guys twice. We can't do this twice. We did it last year.
Right.
I mean, it was flat out disrespectful.
Right.
They had them. What were they, 8th?
Yeah.
8th in the final playoff rankings? I mean, that's disrespectful for what that team did last year.
Exactly.
So knowing that's in the back of their mind, these people are human. These people are human who are in this room talking. They're not robots looking at spreadsheets. So what they have last year in the back of their mind and what happened, then they have this year and what they're doing again this year, it's hard not to think they're not going to take the entire body of work of what they've done for 2 years into account. I don't think they're going to take into account what's going to come down the road with the Big 12, but I do think they're going to take into account what's happened recently, not just this year, but even last year when they talk about UC in that room. Again, fascinating to me to find out what they're going to do with the Bearcats come Tuesday night if everybody wins this weekend as expected.
Right, yeah, it'll be definitely interesting. I will be biting my fingernails to watching to seeing where they put us at. But Joe, you've given me 34 minutes. I appreciate you. Sorry about all the internet issues. I don't know what's going on. I think it's my dog barking and he tripped something or anything. But
what's your dog's name?
Buddy Houday.
Buddy Houday. See, I think Buddy just wants a microphone and wants another. He wants one of these windows here on the screen.
Right, exactly. He'll just be barking at us the whole time, saying, "No, you're wrong. You're wrong." But I appreciate you. Do you have any specials coming up or anything anytime soon? I know you guys, when the Bengals are coming on, you have pregame stuff.
Yeah, so when the Bengals are on Fox, we have pregame specials. They have one more game on Fox in December. I can't remember which game it is. I'd have to look at the schedule to find out what game it is that they have on Fox. But yeah, anytime the Bengals are on Fox, we're on at 10 a.m. and have an hour pregame show. But when they're on CBS, we let the CBS guys do their thing.
Absolutely. I have to get you a Jackpot Joey hat so you can wear that on your next broadcast there.
I want a cape.
You want a cape?
I want the Jackpot Joey cape.
The Jackpot Joey cape. That would be a good look on your next broadcast right there. Have the cape back there and get the hat, and yeah.
It'd be something.
Joe, I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for coming on.
Anytime. Glad to do it.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a recorded interview I did with Joe Danneman of Fox 19 earlier today. He's a great guy. Talked about a lot there. Talked about the Bearcats. Talked about the Bengals. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And then if you see, I changed clothes because I was wearing my hoodie and my hat and everything. Well, then I decided to go down to the Bengals training camp. And it wasn't raining when I left, but good God, did it rain when I was there. I got completely soaked. So, oh my goodness. That's why I'm wearing a different outfit now. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. All right, Rob, what do you got here now? And the funny thing is, you guys are cracking me up. Not cracking me up, but I love that you guys are having your own conversations in the chat while the interview is playing. Rob says, January 2020, I downloaded every single LSU game I could find with Burrow, starting and watched them all. Came to the conclusion the kid will get us a Lombardi in 4 years. Now, this one I'll tell you, Rob, is me and Joe talked off the air there. Hey, Anthony, what's up, brother? we got a superstar. Anthony Cosenza is in the house. What's up, man? But as me and Joe talked at the end of the broadcast, just me talking after recording was over, I said, Joe, you realize we have a shot of having one of the greatest football seasons ever with the Bengals and the Bearcats. I mean, there's a chance that the Bearcats could be playing at least in the college football playoffs. There's a chance the Bengals could be playing for a Super Bowl right around the same time. And he goes, oh, that would be awesome. But he goes, I would have absolutely no life whatsoever because he'd be working so much. Oh, my goodness. Let's see here. What we got here? Tom, what's going on? Who they boys? They've been kicking ass. Yes, they have. Yes, they absolutely have. Rob, the Iceman pulled a Clark Kent Superman on us. So I guess you didn't see the beginning of the show, Rob, because I said it was. There you go. Yep, AC. That's my boy there. Anthony is a great dude. All right, guys. Now, if you have not heard about this, because I didn't even talk about it yesterday, because when me and Anthony get talking, we just ramble on, and I forget some stuff I actually want to do. And I know Anthony would love to come to this if you're still watching, but I know he can't. It's a little bit far drive. He's in California. But I'm having a Bengals watch party at the scoreboard there on 3783 Shady Lane in North Bend, Ohio. It's on. I have a Facebook group or or invite or whatever to give all the information about it, of the address and all that stuff. So if you guys can find my Sports Strawberry Ice Facebook page, all the information you need is on there. If you want to come watch it, watch the Bengals game with me and Kieran. I think he's going to be there. He's been on my show a couple times. I've been on his. I was actually on his earlier today too. So, and I got to give a shout out to my boy Josh, Back Row Bengals. He is officially on YouTube now. So if you guys have subscribed to my show, go to Back Row Bengals on YouTube and subscribe to Josh's show, because the very first one on there is me. So check that out. Let's see here. Sherry, you're new. I don't remember you being on here. How you doing? We don't have too many women on here, which I'm pretty sure Sherry's a woman. But anyway, I love the jackpot Joey hats. Yeah, great. I'm glad you do. You can order some at jackpotjoey9.com. We got hats, we got shirts, we got all kinds of stuff. I think we got beanies we're coming out with. We're working on getting those done. So just check it out there, Jackpot Joey 9, and you can get your supply there. Natty says Joe Burrow is just built differently. Exactly. And that's where I kind of talked about it with Anthony yesterday and talked about it today a little bit with Joe. They're talking about being a trap game. I don't think Joe is going to let this team have a trap game. I think he's so singular focused on the next game. You know, they're not like us. They're not like me going, dude, we might have a shot at this thing. You know, who knows what's going to happen if we get into the playoffs. Joe just going one game at a time. Next game is the Jets, and he's focused on beating the Jets. And that's what I think all those guys were doing. They're focused on beating the Jets. But, I got to saw something really cool, too, I want to tell you. With my dumbass being out there in the rain with my hoodie and everything. And of course, I didn't bring a umbrella. So I'm waiting for the guys to come off the practice field, just say good luck, you know, and go kick the Jets' ass and everything. And Zach Taylor sees me. He goes, "You're out here every day, rain or shine, huh?" I said, "Yeah, man, I tried to." He's like, "I appreciate you. Appreciate you too, Jack." So, man, I can't talk today. Zach, not Jack. Zach Taylor. So that was kind of cool. Maybe he's starting to get to know who I am. At least he knows I'm the crazy guy that comes to most of the practices. But anyway, I think that's about all I have for tonight. We got Thursday night football, and yeah, Sherry, you are quite welcome. Yes, please get the likes up on the channel. Please hit the thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And that brings me to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And as always, I appreciate every single one of them. Oh, check out tomorrow's show. Jake Lisco from Locked On Bengals is going to be on. He's going to be on around 6 o'clock. So the first half hour is going to be you and me, and then Jake will be on. So make sure you check out tomorrow's show for sure. But the Facebook groups that let me live stream are as followed: Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Bearcat Country, Cincinnati Reds, rounding third, heading for home. The Ohio State Bucknuts. I'm an Ohio State fan, but I just like saying the Ohio State Bucknuts. It just sounds cool. Maybe we just say the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. Yeah, I'll start doing that. The Ice Bar. And then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trenopole. TikTok is at Iceman90. You can look them all up by typing in Sports with Strawberry Ice. It should pop up. I will be pulling off the sound later on tonight and posting it. So if you missed any of the interview with Joe and you can't sit there for an hour and watch it, you can listen to it. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you like, rate, and review. And by the way, you guys have been killing it. I mean, I'm getting I never get like 100 listens on my podcast a day. I get it on the show a lot. Most times I usually get 100 views on there or more. I'm getting close to 100 people listening to my podcast. That is awesome. I appreciate you guys. So download it, like it, rate it, review it, give it a 5-star review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. YouTubers, we're at 1,412 subscribers. That is awesome. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. My goal is to get to 2,000 by the Super Bowl, meaning this year's Super Bowl, and when the Bengals win the Super Bowl. See, I'm just speaking it into existence, because what I should have done is what I told you guys to do back in February is to go bet on the Bengals to at least make the Super Bowl. We all could have made a lot of money. I hope somebody did it. I didn't do it. I was going to do it, but I didn't do it, and I wish I did. All right, Ken, let's get one more comment here before we get on out of here. The nucleus of this team will keep the young guys centered. These guys have won national championships and plenty of big-time programs. Exactly. That's where I'm at, and that's why I love the makeup of this team. All of them. There's not one. There's no divas on this team. Jamar Chase, as much accolades as he's getting, it could all go to his head. He could be doing all kinds of weird stuff, and I'm sure he's getting all kinds of different offers of different things and stuff like that. We haven't heard anything. He's a 21-year-old kid, got his head screwed on right. Joe Burrow, 24-year-old kid, got his head screwed on right. Great parenting on both those guys. Great parenting from all these guys on the team. They're all true professionals. So we got a shot at this thing. When I said 11-6, I was really thinking we got a shot at the Super Bowl, but I was too scared to actually say that. I'm not scared to say it now. We got a shot at this thing. We got a shot at the Super Bowl. We got ways to go. We'll see what happens. But crazier things that have happened. And as my boy, Jeremy Dimebag These Nuts likes to say, remember one thing, and one thing only, and that is you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati, so act like it. Hooday! Let's go watch some Thursday Night Football. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, Jake Lisco from Locked On Bengals will be on tomorrow, so make sure you check it out. And as always, that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. Stripes, 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 yeah. Stripes, 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 yeah. Stripes, 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 yeah. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. 'Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite and stripes. Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat, tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who day, time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounce, make the city howl. Now we beasting now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move dancing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange upon 'em, Bengal bottle, never